Let's get down to business. President Trump's social media company, Truth Social, is looking to make a profit off of what he posts because a lot of what he says moves markets. Starting next month, the company plans to sell early access to what he posts milliseconds before the rest of us can see it. For traders or investors, this can make all the difference in millions of dollars worth of trades. Other social media companies already do this, but in this case, we're talking about paying for information from the President of the United States that can move global markets. This is placing bets and making investments off information that is only available to those who pay for early access. So the question, is this insider trading or is it just another grift? The fact is that this is now right out there in the open, and it boggles the mind. This is not how free markets are supposed to work, and it sets up the possibility of manipulating the market to make a quick buck, and the president could take a slice. He, of course, is the largest shareholder in the company that owns Truth Social, already worth more than $1 billion. My question, where are the biggest names in banking? Where are the titans of Wall Street? They know the rules of trading better than anyone. They live and die from them. I understand that they are enjoying an extraordinary market run with near record levels and getting things done with very little regulation or oversight by this administration. But this right here is a whole other level and has us asking the question, is this White House for sale? Here now, Dan Nathan, co-founder of Risk Reversal and CNBC Fast Money contributor, and Steve Liesman, CNBC senior economics reporter, with some really important new polling out. But I want to start with this. Insider trading, is it just is this just another data point on the grift pile, or is it no big deal?
I want to give you a little context. For
Please.
The last 2 decades, I'm the one on CNBC at 8:30 that gives the embargoed government data. Because of the context of that for me, this announcement by the president makes me want to puke. Literally puke. It is one of the most upsetting things I have ever heard, because when I think about the role of government, anything it does well, the provision of public good, and data is a public good, is in the first instance. Defending the country is a public good. The provision of data is a public good. The idea that the president may charge and hold back information to the public when the rest of the government is involved in a massive effort to make sure that key economic data, like payrolls, like GDP, like inflation, comes out to everyone at the same time, is disgusting.
Dan?
Well, I'm the guy on CNBC who's been there nearly for 2 decades. I mean, listen, I'm a former trader, so this sort of information was really important, but it's a different market than it was when I was really active in the markets, late 90s and most of the 2000s. And this sort of, I guess you call it information arbitrage for all intents and purposes, got a lot more serious once you had all the computers trading. They call it algorithmic trading or high frequency trading. So milliseconds make a lot. They mean a whole heck of a lot, right?
Can I interrupt and say, just so people know, there are servers that are located in New Jersey because of the speed of light and the need for them to be closer to the exchanges, and real estate for those servers, long interruption.
Coming in hot.
And real estate is higher because of the demand for the space for the servers being close to cut off the, I don't know what happens after milliseconds, but nanoseconds to make the trade faster. Sorry, Dan.
Michael Lewis wrote a whole book on that.
There we go.
It was called Flash Boys. And, you said something, investors, traders, very different sort of market participants, right? So I don't think this really matters much for investors as far as their ability to transact in the market. It's very important
Dan,
for traders.
This is the White House.
I'm not defending it.
No, but I'm talking about, whether this has a big impact or a small impact is less important. The fact that our White House, our president, is engaging in this and making a buck off of it, and we're barely hearing from the biggest names on Wall Street. The fact that the only person who said, I understand this and it makes me puke, is Steve Liesman. I'm sorry, that's just not enough.
I'm not going to vomit all over the place about this. I don't like it. It's like 152 on the list of grifts that are coming out of the White House. Okay, so my only point is does it disadvantage, investors? I don't believe so.
Yes, it does. If they get the early profit on it, there's less profit left for regular investors.
We're talking about there's no real profit.
Can I show you? I will show you. I wish I'd known.
We're going to have to get to a survey really quickly.
Let's go for it,
I'm getting eaten up.
But here's the thing. I will show you the effect of President Trump's tweets on the war with Iran,
okay, but I was getting
on
there.
tariffs.
So
all of those things move markets. The early guys suck up the profit, and there's nothing left for everybody else.
There's precedent to this, okay? So there's a lot of news services, Reuters used to do this. There's other news services that did this. The difference between what Reuters is doing is they are putting news out there that is publicly available, right? And it doesn't move markets the way what the president has to say, what the president has to announce. So
Reuters
I was
backed off of that.
Okay, but I was going to get to the point. There's no doubt about it. This is not a particularly savory sort of practice. Okay, I'm not defending it by any means.
Not a particularly savory sort of practice from the Oval flipping office.
Right. Listen, I think the CEOs of the banks, they got much bigger issues to deal with, as it relates to the president and how their clients might be disadvantaged, that sort of thing. So I'm not trying to make it sound like this is not a big deal, but I think the folks
I don't know. I guess I'm just saying, hey, boys, the cat's got your tongue. Hey, Bill Ackmans of the world out there who have everything to say about everything in the
let me ask you this,
politics or finance. Nobody's saying this sounds hinky.
Okay, what's more important than the speech that he gave last night that actually speaks to the fact that there's no rule of law, that we don't have like a defensible election? That's so much more important than this that we're talking about.
My love, all of it's important. Yeah. But all of these guys who are experts, who are titans in finance, the reason they're billionaires, love to chime in on wokeness and this, that, and the other thing, and something they actually know about, something that they live and die by, their business. The cat's got their effing tongue.
Can I draw a line? Can I draw a line between the other story that was out there, which is not obviously related? The teleprompter operator betting on Kalshi on the president's speeches.
And by the way, they're going to let that guy fry.
Right. Well, let's draw a line between corruption at the top and corruption throughout the system. So that's, I think, a very important thing that's out there. I remember years ago, I was in Russia watching a deputy minister, and some guy said to me, "That's the dumbest guy in government." I said, "How do you know it's the dumbest guy in government?" He said, "Because he's been in government 2 years and he's still poor." That was the culture,
and they also
in
throw
Russia.
The oligarchs out of windows. Yeah, listen,
right. But here's the thing: that goes down from the top all the way to the teleprompter.
Which, by the way, Dan, is one of the reasons we're not hearing from lots of people, because the grift is so real and so pervasive. At this point, even people who know what the president is doing is wrong are like, "Damn, if you can't beat him, join him." I want some more Netflix.
We have
Miles too.
Such bigger fish to fry months in front of the midterms. This is not going to affect anything. You could say, "Oh, they're focused on making a few bucks here and there off of Truth Social, and my prices of gas at the pump or eggs or whatever it is going through the roof," or whether it's health insurance. I mean, the list goes on and on. This election is going to have nothing to do with whether HFTs get milliseconds of access. Like, high
frequency traders.
Okay. You know what this election will have to do with?
What?
Steve's new poll. Talk to us about the economy, because while investors might feel great about the markets, maybe not today because they're down, how the American people actually feel about the economy is something different.
So I want to give you a little reporter's notebook about creating these polls. We have so many questions and so little space. Okay.
He's so cute.
So much of the of what we want to ask ends up in the cut list, and we only get like 15 questions, maybe 20 questions on a good poll. And so this question we asked about people: what are you doing in response to higher prices? We had good results from the last quarter. I thought, let's not ask it again, because gas prices are down a little bit. They went up in terms of people cutting back on their essentials in response to higher prices, even after gas prices fell. So it's 47% and cutting back. Americans report cutting back on essential items. All right, it's higher. July, it's 47%. 61% of the public is pessimistic on the economy now, pessimistic on the economy for the future. We sit here every day, Dan and I, going through this amazing market that's been surging. What we're seeing, I want to say, is the results of supply-side economics. This administration, by design, by policy, has decided, let's put corporations flush with cash. The earnings and the profits are tremendous. You have a booming stock market, and then it will trickle down. That's there. What we're seeing from these results is, at least it hasn't trickled down yet. When we look at the results, there's a lot of partisanship in it. Democrats, 90% cutting back, only 35% of Republicans. Look at the independents. They look a lot more like Democrats, 67%. All of this has put President Trump's overall and economic approval ratings the most underwater they have been in his entire political career.
I owe you an apology because I am out of time. I wish we had more time today. This was a great conversation, but guess what? I'll be inviting you back soon. Steve, this is important polling. You're going to be covering it all day on CNBC.
It's on CNBC.com, the entire poll.
It's on CNBC.com, the whole entire poll. He will be on CNBC all day. You definitely want to follow him on this poll.